Hi, I'm Rob Cram, and today we're going to take a look at Resident Evil 6 and the idea of hybrid survival horror gameplay. Resident Evil games have come under flack ever since Resident Evil 4 changed the pacing of the gameplay into a pseudo-action experience with loose survival horror elements. The fact that it was one of the most highly rated games in the series is perhaps easily ignored when arguing against the new approach Capcom have adopted with their franchise. Resident Evil 4 and 5, and now 6, have evolved the gameplay to suit the demands of the majority of today's gamers, leaving those stuck in the past left to embrace it or simply ignore the game entirely. Resident Evil 6 adopts the same gameplay approach as the previous two games, in that it has an underlying element of survival horror. For starters, the random dropping of items makes for an unpredictable flavour, which if players refrain from using a skill which increases the drop rate, can leave players with no ammo. Capcom have thought about the realities of people caught up in a zombie outbreak and figured that no ammo shouldn't mean game over, rather a return to basic instincts. Running away is always there as an option and still very much part of the game, considering players' time taken is a factor in the endgame stats and ranking, much like it always has been. However, the idea players can get slowed down, but not to the point of frustration, by surviving using melee combat is a sound and feasible one. It adds a bit more fluidity to the gameplay and a last chance to really survive before being eaten alive. Playing on professional difficulty with a basic non-upgraded character brings its own set of challenges to players. Zombies seem more aggressive, and whilst it's perhaps easy to sprint past groups of would-be attackers, the tension is increased tenfold knowing that one hit could put the player in a very dire situation that's likely to result in death. Even with the increased level of ammo, defensive, evasive moves and the last-ditch melee attacks, the fear and likelihood of being pounced on or hit does recreate the survival horror and tensions missed in the last game. The AI partner by default tends to hang back, just out of view, unless players dictate it to move forwards or pinpoint specific enemies for it to focus on. There is a lone wolf skill available which disables the AI's default behaviour to auto-rescue down players. This opens up a whole new ballpark of playing the game more tactically, using the environment and taking advantage of the AI partner's seemingly unlimited ammo. However, the aggressiveness of the AI looks like it's been toned down to reflect this, and it's still no match against swarms of enemies. There is also a skill called Shooting Wild, which removes the crosshair but increases firepower, and another which increases attack power but lowers defense. There are options to tailor the experience to how players want to play, which has been absent from previous games in the series. Resident Evil 6 offers the same combat mechanics across all three campaigns, although some provide different approaches to combat. The Leon campaign sits closest to the more sullen and eerie moments of the series, whereas the other two dabble in reused themes which have been synonymous with the Resident Evil games for quite some years now. Players who have concern over difficulty can think again when playing the game on tougher settings. The old school, tight corridor zombie grabs might have gone, but the raw adrenaline rush of escape and self-preservation still remains as an underlying part of the core gameplay. The platform is there for players to run and gun their way through Resident Evil 6, or take part in one hell of a challenging survival horror experience that, rather than move at the snail's pace of yore, is current and requiring quick thinking and real gaming skills. Resident Evil 6 releases this October and is looking like an awesome game for fans and non-fans alike. I'm Rob Cram, thanks for watching, stay tuned for more Resident Evil 6 videos.